Hello, it is Throwback Thursday, April 25th, 2019. Steve Sipress here, in front of my garage with my trusty new mountain bike, which I took for a spin for the first time today, ill-advised, by the way. As you can see, I have my towel behind my neck because I just took a dip in the pool, almost involuntarily, because I idiotically decided to go for a bike ride during pretty much the hottest time of the day on one of the hottest days of the year, the second hottest day of the year so far. It was forecast this morning to hit 98, which usually happens around 4 p.m., and there it was at 3 o'clock. I went out on the bike, and kind of silly. So it brings back the memories. I first learned to ride a bike probably about 50 years ago. And then as soon as I could, I used that as my first taste of freedom, my autonomy. I was able to bike all over the place, to and from school, and first money-making endeavor was going around and scooping up bottles out of garbage cans and going and returning them to stores, to the store for a penny back 50 years ago. That's what we would do. We'd get 10, 15 bottles at a time in the bicycle rack tray basket, the basket of the bike, take them in and get like 15 cents and go get like 3 packs of baseball cards or something. Like, how exciting was that? Anyway, today was a different story because now we're up here near the top of a mountain. So if I turn around this way, you can see pretty much the tip tops of the mountains and a few homes behind us up there, a little higher up. But this was about a 3-mile trip down the mountain where I knew I wouldn't have to pedal the whole time, and I didn't. But what does that mean? Of course, it's 3 miles uphill on the way back. So even though I got this fancy schmancy in the back and give you a ride, and I was like, well, yeah. And so that was nice. Oh, we're back. Got back here, got back home, and it was time to get in the pool. Even though Donna was like, no, you don't want to go in the pool and pass out or have a cramp up or whatever it was, take a shower. I'm like, no, I'm going to the pool. So actually 2 firsts today. First bike ride on the bike and first time in the pool at the new place. How cool is that? But the business lesson is, I heard this on the news recently, that kids, high school kids, no longer care about getting their driver's license, which was one of the biggest things there was when I was a kid in high school. Was, man, I got to get my driver's license. People couldn't wait to get our learner's permit, to get our driver's license, to have that freedom to start to drive and be able to go places. I mean, I could go on my bike. I biked to and from school and have my paper route, and I went all over the place. And later on, even when I would ride my bike to law school every day, 5 miles each way. So, a bike was a lot of freedom to me. But the car, getting the driver's license, that was a big deal. And they're saying kids don't care anymore. For a couple of reasons, they were saying. One is they can just, they all have a smartphone, so they can all just call an Uber anytime they want and go anywhere. Which I guess technically back then, I guess I could have called a cab to go play. It's not really the same. It wasn't the whole ride-sharing kind of mentality. It wasn't like you would just start calling people up to give you rides places back then, but now you do. That's what the app is, Uber or Lyft or whatever. It's calling strangers and they come pick you up and take you somewhere. That gives you some autonomy. But even more importantly, they're saying it's because kids realize within a few years there's going to be driverless cars. And so they don't care about learning to drive. Well, I got to learn how to drive when it's going to be, that's already an obsolete skill or nearing obsolescence. It's going to be obsolete in a few years, so why learn how to drive? It's like if you're a fan of these whacked out AOC Bernie Sanders lunatics of the world who think the world is ending in 12 years, why would you do anything? It's amazing that these people get away with, nobody calls them on the world is going to end in 12 years, so we want to give everyone free college. I'm like, really? So the world's ending in 4 years and I should spend 4 of that in a classroom? So that I can have a better 8-year career when I come out? Like, stop being ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. So the business lesson from that is to always understand that you are not your prospect. You are not your client. So what you remember and your attitude toward things and what you feel, not important at all. Okay, so the fact, if I'm marketing to millennials, then I can't sit there and go like, what's wrong with these kids that they don't care about getting their driver's license? It was a big deal. Who cares? Doesn't matter that it was a big deal to me. All that matters is what matters to them. So in my newsletters and my marketing and my advertising and my communications, emails, videos, in person, anything at all, when I'm talking to people, it doesn't matter how I feel about getting a driver's license. All that matters is how they feel. And I see business owners make that mistake too much. So, grumbling and bumbling about the good old days, and people today don't understand. And I love the good old days. All you have to do is slap your name in a yellow page ad and the phone rang. Now it's all complex. You got to do all this online stuff and the technology and the software and the who and the ha, and it's all complex. There's 42 different ways you got to advertise. I want the good old days back where all you have to do is have a yellow page ad. Well, who cares? That's meaningless. Doesn't matter. So you can waste your time regretting and thinking back to the good old days, or you can stay up to date and care only about what matters, which is the mindset of your prospect. Okay, so to the kids today to get their driver's license. Okay, so remember that. What was a big deal to you, or what still is a big deal to you, not necessarily a big deal to your clients. And when you're marketing and advertising, selling, communicating, anything at all with your business, all that matters is how they feel, not how you feel. Make sense? All right, Rick is here. Great seeing you. And Rick says, pop bottles. A neighbor of mine asked me and my bro to remove all the bottles from his garage. See more. He had a shopping cart in there, and we filled it completely. We got 2 cents a piece. There you go. Yeah, those bottles were like a penny or 2 cents. The bigger ones were like 2 cents. Hard work for a couple of bucks, but worth it. Yeah, but a couple of bucks was worth something in those days. You know, the top baseball players made like 60, 80,000 a year, not 33 million a year. Like a couple of bucks meant a lot more back then, didn't it? And Rick says, never prejudge in sales, work the magic. Okay, I like that. Not sure exactly what it means, but I like it. I think. I mean, I like the magic part. But someday you'll need to explain that to me. What do you mean? Because I guess I got a problem with that. Number one, I don't think there's magic. I think there's formulas and strategies that work in selling, advertising, marketing, and it's not really magic to it. Although when you use the right formulas, magically you get the results, I guess, that way. And never prejudge. I technically don't agree with that one either. Like, you prejudge a hell of a lot of things in sales. Okay, prejudge, people use this term prejudice as if it's a negative way. Well, of course, there's a lot of things that prejudging is negative. If you're going to be a racist or anything like that, you're going to prejudge and think, oh, just because that person is from that country, I don't like him already and never met him, something like that. That prejudging is bad. But, I was just riding my bike. Well, I'm prejudging as I ride in the bike lane that the cars going by me 40 miles an hour are not going to suddenly veer off to the left and kill me. So I'm prejudging that these cars are going to stick in the lane. And when I'm driving in a car 50 miles an hour and there's a little dotted white line down the middle, I got to prejudge that that driver on the other side is going to stay on his side of the line and I'm going to stay on mine. I mean, you got to prejudge a lot of things in life. Otherwise, you'd be paralyzed and do nothing. So I prejudge a lot of things. I'm going to prejudge based on my experience. Sorry about that. I'm getting calls coming in and voicemails and who knows what. And all right, that's enough, though. Kevin Donahue is here. Great seeing you, my man. And that'll do it for today. That's enough. So always think of the mindset of your prospect, okay? Nobody cares about your mindset unless you're on the other side of the register and you're looking to buy something, and that's when someone will care about your mindset. When you're advertising, marketing, and selling, nobody cares about your mindset. You got to care about your prospect's mindset. Makes sense? Mike Hamill is here. Great seeing you. Mike, childhood friend. In fact, I was just talking about remembering getting our driver's license. We probably got our driver's license right around the same time, and remember that in high school? We used to drive around. Remember when we could go out for lunch and drive around to the, where did we go? All kinds of, the Arthur Treacher's Fish and Chips, and wherever else we would go, anywhere but staying in the school, the Fort Lee Diner in Fort Lee, New Jersey, and so on. And so those were the days, huh? All right, that'll do it for Throwback Thursday. What a memory. Great seeing you here, Mike. Memories of those high school days. Getting that driver's license changed everything. No more having to eat in the cafeteria. Go somewhere. Today, for some reason, kids don't care about getting their driver's license. There's a lot of different things with these kids these days. If you're marketing to them, keep that in mind. That'll do it for Throwback Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, diners. Well, Kevin saying gotta love a diner and the 8-track. Yeah, I did have an 8-track put into my 1973 Pinto back. That was great. They were actually, I was just saying that to my beautiful wife Michelle yesterday. I think I was saying, do you remember when there were car stereo shops? Because I was talking about how much better it is to have the components. Oh, I was talking about software. And my video yesterday about software, you know, they all work, but getting them to integrate and work together is a pain in the butt. They all pass the buck. Like they say this thing works with that, and then if you have a problem, one just says, oh, well, you know, call the other one. And the other one says, oh, call the other one. And so you can't get this stuff working together. And that was the example I used, the 8-track. I said, you know, isn't it much better when the actual car stereo comes with the car? Not like in the old days when you know, had somebody pulled out all the wires from under the dash and messed around with your car all over the place just to get a stereo in there. Remember those days? That's what I look at software these days, where much better to have it all integrated. And we were in the kitchen, and I said, like that, like our appliances right there. You got microwave, oven, refrigerator. It all works together because it's all in a bank together with the same brand and the same everything. And so software that's got all different manufacturers doing their own thing would be like having a microwave from one manufacturer and an oven from another and a thing from another. And then they wouldn't get working together, and the timers wouldn't work together and whatever. So thanks for bringing back those memories, too. Fort Lee Diner, the New Jersey, like the diner capital of the world. So we love diners, and we had those 8-tracks back in those days. Had the cassette tapes, first the 8-tracks, then the cassette tapes, and then I forget what it went to next. Nowadays, kids just have it's right there on the phone, everything, isn't it? All right, that'll do it for Throwback Thursday. We're having some fun, and we'll call it a day. I'll be back tomorrow on Foundation Friday. I got a very basic foundational business building tip for you. Thanks to everyone being here today. Thanks Kevin and Mike and Rick and Toby and everybody bringing back the memories and interacting here. I love it. And hopefully I see you guys again tomorrow on Foundation Friday. Over and out. Bye-bye.